Welcome to the Connection Central Industry Podcast, where real conversations meet real strategies. Each episode we dive into the industries that keep Australia moving, talking with the leaders, innovators, and everyday operators, shaping what's next. So settle in, turn it up, and let's get into it.
Good afternoon, everybody. It's Michelle O'Hara here from Connection Central with another business industry podcast. Today we have Teilia Cornwall from Turbo Plumbing Solutions. Welcome, Teilia.
Michelle, how are you?
So good, and so good to have you on today.
Thank
So
you.
what we want to start with for our audience, you've been operating since 2008. First of all, I want to ask you about the snail. So start there and tell us a little bit about your history and a bit about, how you got to where you are today.
Certainly. So from 2008, Gavin, my partner, he ran a sole trading business, and heading into the 2020, we decided to have some children, and that really changed his mindset on where his business and his career might go. That's when it all started happening. He built a YouTube channel, which again is a play on words, the penetrator of blocked drains, which actually is a tool that he uses. And so when Turbo came about, it took us a while, but the snail actually came from, again, a play on words, fast service. There is actually a type of snail called the turbo snail. So we wanted a character that was memorable. And we went through all of these different ideas and we tried to make Gav a caricature. And it just never looked like him and it never looked right. So we went with the snail and the play on words. Snails aren't really that fast. But here we are, just like penetrator. And we've got the snail as turbo, and that's sort of how it all eventuated.
That's fantastic. So tell our audience a little bit about who you service, what your products and services are with Turbo Plumbing Solutions.
Sure. So we're located in North Brisbane and we are residential maintenance plumbers. We like to stick to our lane. So we don't delve into renos, we don't delve into commercial. We are focused solely on mums and dads and homeowners around North Brisbane.
Brilliant. I love that stick to your lane. It's really the way forward, I think, so people can know exactly what you're known for. And that's a good way going forward.
I think it's really good to become an expert in your area rather than trying to, put a finger in every pie, so to speak.
Be everything to everyone. It makes a lot of sense. And I think going forward, the companies that do that are definitely the ones that, will be the successful ones. So obviously with everything, with the budget just coming down, Joy, and just in general, the power, etc., that's going on with the economy, just share a little bit with the audience some of the challenges that you're finding in the plumbing industry.
I guess the budget has nothing really challenging for us just yet. The main challenges we're seeing is the competitiveness in maintaining and retaining staff or even acquiring staff. So trades, there's not really much succession planning for tradies. And I feel like there's not a lot of apprentices coming through or good quality apprentices because there are so many other career paths out there that you can earn the same amount of money for less physical work. So that's probably our biggest challenge is acquiring, retaining staff. We're finding it challenging because there are a lot of plumbers out there that know this and they use it to their advantage. So they will hop from company to company, just asking for more money from each of the companies. So this is why I value our culture in our company and protecting and looking after our staff. That's one of our biggest things. Because without staff, you don't have a company.
So true. And what are some of the ways that you, if you don't mind sharing, that you're doing? How are you doing that?
Sure. So I guess if you're looking at all of the tangible stuff, we give all of our staff vehicles, brand new vehicles, tools, access to tools when they need them, the newest modern equipment, uniforms. We obviously have outings with our staff, social events. But one of the biggest things for us is we're a family business. So we don't encourage overtime. We worry about billable efficiency. So efficiency at work, get your job done in 8 hours and go home to your family. That's our biggest culture shift in our company.
Nice. I know it is a shame, isn't it? So obviously all the prices going up and having to pay more and everything, do you find there's a lot of the bigger boys sort of coming, I'm seeing, where, in the letterbox, you're getting a lot of the magnets for cheap and all that sort of stuff. I throw them all away. But, competing on price, talk to me a little bit about that side of things.
We tend not to compete on price. So we have our Gav is the numbers guru. So he will sit down, run his profit and loss every month, make sure what we're charging will pay everything, and with our net profit and things like that. So our pricing is factored around our costs. But in saying that, when you have the newest and latest equipment and vehicles and you're paying your staff the right amount, you then have to look after the customer. So it comes back to value for money. So you can go to a cheap clothing store and buy a cheap shirt. You could do that 10 times, or you could go and buy a quality item that might last you 10 years. So we're all about quality and value. So you're going to get value for money with us. So it's not about undercutting other plumbers. It's about selling and providing value to our customers.
Nice. And obviously you guys are really forward thinking, when we spoke previously, talking about AI, talking about efficiencies. You have your app. I want you to share some information about the app because I think it's fantastic. And, I really find that customer service is, the key differentiator going forward, because not a lot of people are giving it, especially as the bigger boys are buying everything.
Yeah.
So yes, talk me through a bit of that and sort of how that shows value. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're finding a lot of customers prefer text messages or emails, and there's not a lot of contact via phone these days. We still provide that because we obviously service residential customers and ages vary. So we've got to cover all bases really. So part of our service is once you book online, you get a notification. And within this notification, we have a link to an app that I've created. Within this app, it gives you the breakdown of what will happen when your technician arrives. So they'll arrive, they'll introduce themselves, they'll be in a purple van, so you know it's them. It's a bit of security and it's a bit of safety, which we've had a lot of really good feedback on because people want to know who's coming to their house, what they look like, and then that's comforting when those people arrive. And also within the app, we have contact details, but we also have a link to a customer portal, which our customers can log into and have a look at any jobs they've booked, any invoices from the past. If they have a membership with our company, they can have a look at the membership, what savings they've got. They can have a look if we've installed a hot water system, the equipment shows up, it'll show serial number, it'll have every single detail of every event that's happened with us. So it's just, that's the added value. So you're not having to chase up invoices from a company, or if you can't remember, you can have a look when the last job was done, and then, our phone number's in there. It's quite simple and easy to use. And that's just one of the values, service values that we provide. So it's that nurturing touch point, I suppose, before we even get there, plus after we get there. As I said, a lot of people like text messages. People are busy at work. They're working from home. They're in meetings. So we also send photos of our staff when they are dispatching to the job. So an image will go and say, hey, this is Gavin. He's on his way. And then Gav will pick up the phone. He'll say, hi, Michelle, I'm 20 minutes away. I'll see you soon. And then, the plumber's coming and you're not hanging, waiting for a tradesman to show up. Or in some cases, they don't show up. I've heard in other instances. Yeah.
Too often they're not, by the sounds out there. Yes.
Yeah.
Wow. This is fantastic, Tilly. I love this. So a couple of things there. What, first of all, made you think about doing this? The touch points, the sending. I love that. Sending the photo of the staff member, the phone call. Like, it's sort of all a bit old school, isn't it? But I love it. So what motivated you? What inspired you? You're just fantastic with customer service.
We want to stay ahead of the industry. And part of our idea is that trades aren't really valued, and trades are professionals. They really are. And if you have a look at what they do throughout the day, you actually underestimate what their job is. They are professionals. They deserve to be treated professionally. So we're gonna also give back to you as the customer and give you that value and that service that you deserve if you're going to pay the price that we're charging to be able to run our business. And I guess that's the difference between us and a smaller company that don't have as many overheads as us, but we have to then provide value and service to all of our customers. Now, the reason I did this was because we are in a lot of homes with elderly people, young people, single people, every demographic. It's safety. It's basically us nurturing our customer, making sure they're feeling valued, making sure they feel safe, and with us coming into their home.
It's wonderful. It's such a simple thing when you think about it, but it's such also an important piece, especially from a security point of view with everything that's going on out there. It's gold. I love it. Thank you. So you mentioned before a membership and I know you obviously do maintenance. So can you share a little bit you've got a membership program for your customers?
Sure.
Share a little bit with the audience about that? Yeah.
Yeah. So we brought on board a membership program last year or the year before where customers can sign up as a yearly membership. They pay $99 and they get priority scheduling, they get discounted plumbing. So if anything ever happens, we reshuffle our day to make sure our members are looked after. So currently we have about 300 members with our company. Yeah. And to add that value, I'll just go back to value and providing that value. We also have member packs. So our members get a nice little tote shopping bag they can take with them. I've created a toilet spray line so they can have the scent in their bathrooms after we've finished toilet. They get a labeled toilet roll that they can sit on their toilet. It's part of not being so serious, but also providing value, and people love it. They get little gifts.
Fantastic. So I have to ask, for the sake of the audience, what your background is, Teilia, so that they understand, where all this magnificent ideas came from.
I'm a teacher by trade, and then we obviously had children. I went back into teaching, and then Gavin had this brilliant idea to rebrand and become Turbo Plumbing. All the while, I'd just given birth to our second child. So I have been on maternity leave, but have just decided that this will be my career path for a little while. I do believe you can take a sideways step and redirect yourself within your career. But yeah, I am a teacher, and I guess coming from that background, I believe I have a lot of skills that work well with the trades that I'd also like to implement with innovation and creativity and nurturing and empathy and all of those things that you kind of need to run a business and keep the customer long term.
No, it's fantastic. I mean, it's so creative, and that's why I wanted to share that with the audience, because that obviously that nurturing, it doesn't necessarily come naturally to everybody, and people would have to work on it, but it sounds like it's something that's really in your blood, and I just think it's wonderful how you're obviously constantly looking at the business and the customers and how can we do it better, and how can we have even more value. Is that something that is on an ongoing sort of strategic basis?
Absolutely. So to be competitive in the trade industry, you have to be ahead of the market. So it's always that forward thinking. What hasn't been done yet? What can we do next? What can we offer that no one else can offer? And where is this going to get us? And is this going to lead us to have more staff? Is this, do staff want to come and work for us? Are we the brand where people want to come and work for us? That's what we want. That's what we hope. That's where we want to get to. But also you have to stay front of mind of customers. So you can spend a lot of money on marketing, but if you have a reliable and a trusting customer base, there's your free leads, right? So you nurture the customers you have and they'll always come back to you. So that's one of our little mottos. We've got to look after the customers that we have.
Love it. And yes, so I'm assuming you have quite a large percentage of referrals coming through from those customers.
We track a lot of data. Google is actually our friend at the moment. But yes, we do have word of mouth. We've got a lot of different advertising and marketing strategies. But again, the customer base that we have, obviously you can't rely on all the time because not everybody needs plumbing all the time. So you still need to be building that client base. So we then also have to be forward thinking in what marketing strategy is going to work for us.
And what would you say, because I love that piece about safety that you mentioned, what would you say your percentage of age, is your biggest client base? Is it sort of the older people needing work because they're in the older homes, or, yeah, I'm just fascinated.
Well, when you look at our data and the tracking of the marketing, it's probably a good split because we have marketing on Google, which attracts a lot of the tech savvy younger generation, because you can actually book a spot online, a live spot. You get the time blocked out, easy, fast, quick. And then we do other marketing for the, I guess, older generation, which is the letterbox drops in magazines that get sent out. And so it's pretty much of a muchness, but we cover the whole demographic with our marketing just to ensure that we're getting all the right people in all the right places.
Yeah, fantastic. Very, very broad thinking. I love it. So where, obviously technology, you're across it all, you've got the innovation, you've got the app. Where does AI sit in all of this for you?
So AI is my friend. AI created the app. I mean, obviously I had to come up with the idea, but then the coding and all of that side of it, that's AI's job. So AI does that for me. We have a CRM system that also has AI built into it. So we often are editing notes from our technicians for grammar, spelling, making sure it's very professional. And obviously that's a bugbear of mine if there's a spelling mistake. So we do have
Yes.
AI that summarizes a lot of what the technicians are doing. The technicians also use voice to text, those sorts of things, so that their time isn't spent trying to type what they've just done.
Yes,
So
my goodness.
there's absolutely room for AI everywhere behind the scenes. Obviously not in the technical jobs yet, but I'm not out in the field to see what could be done. But yeah, and we also use it within our communication system. So like I said, if a technician is dispatching to your house, Michelle, a photo will go and an introductory biography will be sent to the customer. So that's all automated through AI and all systems. So that's just one less little job that we have to do, which allows us to focus on nurturing the customer and getting the job done right.
Fantastic. And are you using something like Claude, or not ChatGPT, surely, or something special?
ChatGPT to begin with, but Claude for all the coding side of things. A lot of the programs that we use actually have that AI built in. So our phone system is linked to Podium. It has an AI assistant that will answer text messages out of hours for us and take soft bookings for our customers to ensure that they're looked after. And our CRM uses Atlas, which is the new AI, I think. Yeah, but it's a whole nother world that I really want to delve into a bit more, but time is not my friend.
I don't know. You're pretty efficient. How long? I think you're very ahead of the game, to be honest. How many years have you been sort of delving into all of this? Like, where did all this start?
So Turbo, we rebranded to Turbo in 2024, and the AI side of it probably last year. It would have, yeah. But the more you train your AI, the better, the more you can get out of it. So it's also, you can ask AI what to do, but there's also an element where you have to think for yourself, right? So being ahead of the industry and having all these things, that's something that needs to come from us, because we know our area, we know our lane, I suppose, to stay in. So there's just got to be that forward thinking from us, and then AI is sort of assisting us with that.
Absolutely. It sounds like you really are asking the right questions. I think that's the thing. You got to ask the right questions and then put the right prompts in order to get the best answers, right? And that strategic thinking.
Absolutely. Train it how you like it.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. No, I absolutely love it. I spoke to a guy the other day in the landscaping industry who also cannot find staff, and he was talking about robots. My goodness.
Right.
And particularly the plumbing ones, I don't know if you've seen, but they're getting them pretty good now at, training. And it did blow my mind, because I thought, well, you train one robot now, you can have a whole team, right? Because machine learning and just duplicate it across. What's your take on that for the future, of course?
I don't think you can ever beat a real person. You're doing a disservice to the industry, really. Obviously, if you have a robot assisting you, that's fine. But you never really, if you train your staff right and you have the right culture and you have them doing things the way that your company does it, so we are obviously all about quality, integrity, honesty, and reliability. I feel like there's more connection with a human. So you've still got to have that connection because you are in a service trade, right? So we still have to meet with you, discuss things with you. And I don't know, maybe I'm just a little old school, but there's no room for robots just yet.
It was a fascinating conversation because I sort of thought the same until, and then I thought, well, hang on a minute, like, especially with the Olympics coming up and everything getting busier. And, I'm watching all the commercial contacts going to be stealing all the youngsters and, all the trades really
Yeah.
to get work done. And I sort of went, oh, hang on a minute, maybe there is a place. So it was a fascinating conversation and I thought I'd throw that in there. I know that was a bit left field. So
I think what for us, it's about looking after our staff so they don't go and leave us to those big companies. So we try and run this family-based business where it's all about family. So if that's your thing, then work for us.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to look after you and we're going to look after the customers, but our staff come first. So ultimately, you don't go off to these other big companies. So yeah, it's a tricky time.
Yeah, isn't it? And I think you're on track with what you guys are doing. And so you touched upon the apprenticeships and that there's not a lot of sort of the younger kids coming through. What would you say to those kids, or I suppose to the parents listening who will talk to their kids about the good opportunities within sort of the plumbing industry?
Yeah, sure. It's a lifelong skill, and where we come from is we sit down, we have training sessions with our staff, we keep them up to date, educated. So every week they have training. Gav is a real businessman, and his ultimate goal would be to have more businessmen like him. So the way that he approaches it is that he's actually implicitly training these guys to become their own bosses. So eventually they could go and run their own business because he's giving them those leadership skills and those business coaching skills that they need, and the technical skills, obviously, with the jobs that come in. But that's where he sees, like, they need to be given an opportunity, and we're happy to provide that opportunity. If we're just a stepping stone, that's great. But I think for young kids these days, it's very easy to get caught up in how much am I going to earn? How much am I going to make? I think if you see the long-term goal, if you're running your own business later down the track, you get your time back. And that's our goal. We want time. Can't pay for time.
Nice. I love that. And to be honest, I think I was unemployable at 22 because I think I always was going to be a business owner, right? And I think that's another thing that they all want their freedom and they want to make the decisions. I know that's definitely going to be our kids. So I love the fact that Gab's got that whole business, focus. So when it comes to the two of you, obviously in the business together, spending a lot of time, how do you work out the lanes?
Yeah, this has been a good learning curve for both of us. So Gav's gone from full sole trader of looking after himself, worrying about himself, only jobs for him, to now actually having to do a lot of leadership and becoming a boss, basically. So his lanes is the technical plumbing side of things, and I'm more the back end technical computer admin, and it never really crosses over because he's not great on computers. I'm not great on a Jetta. So it kind of just works. It's when he starts getting into the back end of the CRM, I'm like, don't touch it. Yeah. So, and I guess the best thing about us is we're very open to feedback. So I've come from, obviously, education, where I'm a teacher, and I have to have those tough conversations with parents, and I have to nurture the children, and I have to show a lot of empathy. And Gav's come from the complete opposite, business side, straight down the line. This is it. So there's a lot of crossing over with, hey, how about we think about it this way? And how about we think about it this way? So I guess I'm the empath over here going, oh, but, and he's like, no, this is how the business needs to run. I'm like, okay, all right, got it. So he's very black and white and very clear. We both work really well together as we bring each other back down to earth, I suppose.
Well, it sounds like yin and yang. It sounds perfect. The perfect match, actually.
Yeah.
Very nice. No, I wanted to ask that question because we get quite a few people. We've had already a few interviews, and a lot of obviously people in the Connection Central member network are husband-wife teams. So it's really good to hear, about how you'll have approached that and how you sort of stick to those lanes, because it does, it's important both for you
not all
too,
rainbows
but also
and lollipops.
for the kids.
It's not all rainbows
Yes.
and lollipops, because you have to have strict boundaries on when work is talked about, when we do work. We have a young family, so we have to. It's very tricky with the boundary setting and the time setting, and that's a whole other challenge in itself. And we're quite new to this, so that's been a big learning curve.
I think you're doing great. Do you think that the kids will eventually join the business?
Absolutely not. I don't know, actually. One's only 6 and one's 20 months old. So no, our oldest, Winnie, she always loves to go with Gavin. So potentially. And he promotes being a business owner. He wants her to own a business. Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Currently her fad is makeup. So
She will.
Yeah. He said, if you want to get ahead in life, being a business owner is where you need to be. Make your own rules.
Love that. Can't wait to see the future of what that looks like. So, look, we've come to the end. See how quickly it went? What I'd love for you to do, Teilia, is just share a little bit with the audience about what does the big vision future look like for Turbo Plumbing Solutions?
For us, it is a company that runs with managers and staff, and we oversee it. We want time back with our family. That's our vision. So we've got to do the hard work now, put in the long hours, build our culture, build our brand, and then hopefully that will pay off into some really deep, dedicated family time later down the track.
Magnificent. Thank you so much. You've given so many pieces of gold today to the audience. It's been absolutely lovely. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks so much for having me. It's been enjoyable. Thank you.
Bye for now.